Yo, what's going on? Good people, we back once again. It's the Be More Show. Look, we are just just hours away from the 53-man roster being announced. And I just want to give some predictions. I want y'all to let me know because I feel like, honestly, y'all, look, I got my list right here. It's honestly completely empty. It's probably a bunch of numbers. Y'all don't even know what I'm saying. Y'all can't even really see it, but y'all know what I'm saying. And I feel like I've gotten comfortably to 51, right? But I am curious about 48 through 53, right? Like that, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like the Ravens roster this year is one of the more predictable ones, right? Like, can we be honest about that? Like, I think the Ravens roster is one of the more predictable ones because over the past couple of years, you've had some question marks, right? I mean, even when you think about David Ojabo and will he make the squad, right? You think about guys like Jay Kamel and would he make it and stuff like that, and they had a lot of depth coming in at corner. You had some injuries at corner, so that makes you have that conversation of what to do. When I look into the depth chart, I feel like there's only really one defensive end. So it makes you wonder, will other guys step into that role in kind of some specialty packages and stuff? Because you know how the Ravens are. The Ravens are going to do this thing where they put guys out of position and this, that, and the third. And I feel like, honestly, and I've talked about this before, if the Ravens are going to do that, they need to lean into it. And I think they've continued to get guys who answer that call, correct? So let's talk. Let's give a little tiny prediction about the 53-man roster. I'm going to write them down as we go along. I want you to follow along as well. Like I said, I mean, there's going to be some obvious ones in here, but at the same time, I think there's some to where we can kind of have a little bit of a conversation. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick. Because shout out to Kevin Ostreicher from Locked On Ravens. He made sure to fill us in just a little bit, okay? Jay Kamel will make the team's final roster after having a minor procedure. I'm going to pull it up real quick so I can see it. After having a minor procedure on his hand, he expected back on the field next week. And Harbaugh said that he will make the team's final roster. So that kind of clues you in on at least one. So I'm just going to go ahead and look on my list right here. And is he a will linebacker or is he? I feel like he'd be more of a will linebacker. I'm not mistaken. Let me look real quick. Okay, so see, they got him behind Trent Simpson. So I'm gonna go ahead and put him there. I'm gonna go ahead and put Simpson, right? I'm gonna go ahead and put Simpson there at that middle linebacker spot. Hamel at what I have listed as number 32 because I went straight down the list, and I'm gonna go ahead and just fill those two in right now because those are two that I feel like it's pretty obvious, right? We got that report. We know Trenton Simpson, even though I feel like he played a whole lot of preseason. We know Trenton Simpson's gonna be in the roster. Like we know he's proven time and time again that he can be a pretty good threat. So it'll definitely be interesting to see. But let's go to the offensive side. Let's go to the offensive side of the football, and let's look. So of course we got a quarterback. We got LJ, right? We got Cooper Rush. I think that's the only two quarterbacks they're gonna keep on the roster. Because as of late, the Ravens have only been keeping two, and they would bring one on the practice squad just in case. But with health being a little bit more on the Ravens side over the past couple of years, they've only had to keep two quarterbacks on the roster. So I think that will stay the same. When it comes to running backs, I think they're going to keep three, right? So this is going to bring us up to five, not including the two linebackers I just put on there. But this is going to bring us up to five. So I think they're going to keep – I mean, and honestly – and that's why I said I'm kind of teeter-tottering on my 52 and 53, right? Who else is left, right? Because to be honest with you, I think that we're going to see. So I think when it comes to these three running backs, I think it's obvious. But I think, you could have room for a fourth because it depends on Keaton Mitchell's health. And I think Keaton Mitchell's health is going to be it's kind of a big deal, right? I think I should do an entire show on this running back room, and I probably will very, very soon. I think I'm going to. I'm going to mark that down so I can on the RB room. I'm gonna mark that down right now so I can do it, because I think there's reason to believe that Rasheen Ali could possibly be 52 for me, right? Because I think you definitely get Derrick Henry. I think you definitely get Justice Hill. I think you definitely get Keaton Mitchell. And honestly, bro, Keaton Mitchell, I know he's not. It don't even feel like he's even back yet. It don't feel like he was really trying in the preseason. But the little bit we saw him, it just gives you those kind of glimpses where it's like, man, like this dude right here, he's ridiculous. He's got all the potential to be completely ridiculous. And I'm gonna be honest, once Justice Hill runs his way out of Baltimore this season, I think that Keaton Mitchell is going to take that spot, and then possibly could take Derrick Henry's spot when Derrick Henry decides to, uh, be done. So I'm going Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, and Keaton Mitchell, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add, because I have 51 people, so I'm gonna go ahead because I really do think. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm gonna keep it at 3 for right now. I'm gonna keep it at 3 for right now. We'll come back to it. All right, so fullback, I think, of course, Patrick Ricard. I don't think they're gonna add another guy. I really don't. I don't think they're gonna add another guy. Because with Patrick Ricard, like, we know he's a mainstay. We know that Patrick Ricard is everything you've ever needed and more. Like, we know what Patrick Ricard is. We know what Patrick Ricard brings to the team. And I think because of that, we feel good about Patrick Ricard, right? We feel good about Patrick Ricard. All right, so Patrick Ricard, I think, will be the lone fullback, and then a receiver. I think we're gonna keep the top 6, right? I think we're gonna keep the top 6. So we're talking about D Hop, Bate, Zay Flowers, of course. Those 3 are the starters. They'll be the mainstays. Tez Walker, I think we could see a little more of him this season. Honestly, I think we might see a little more of Tez Walker this season, and we'll see Tylan Wallace. But that's just me. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Maybe that's me hoping. And then LeJontay Webster, like, I've loved what I've seen from him in terms of the punt return, kickoff return stuff. Like, he just feels like he can make something out of nothing. So I think it's obvious that he's going to stay. He's shown time and time again. That he can be an asset to this team. What he does in the receiver room, completely different. Does add an element of speed, an element of shiftiness that I think, honestly, maybe only Zay gives you from this receiver room. But I think this receiver room looks really good. I'm very excited about that. I could see them potentially keeping another guy, right? If we're talking about 51 to 52, let me know down below what you think. Where does the last couple of guys, where do they go? Where do they fall? They could keep maybe a Keith Kirkwood, right? I mean, honestly, I could see them not keeping him and then add him to the practice squad later, right? Like, I could see them wanting somebody, with like the height of that or something like that. I mean, I feel like Anthony Miller is kind of, Swiss Army knife. You use him for whatever. I don't see him coming back. Bill Cunningham. I mean, it could be Kirkwood, maybe. It's not needed, but I think, like you said, you can't never have too much depth when it comes to the receiver room. In terms of the offensive line, I think it's going to be all the starters. So you got Ronnie Stanley, Voorhees, Linderbaum, Falele, Rosengarten. But then, I think they keep all the backups too. I mean, I think they keep Carson Vincent, Ben Cleveland, Nick Simak, Emory Jones Jr. I think they keep all those guys. I think that's as deep as it goes. Now, I could see them going and adding another O lineman. I could. That could be one of those 52, 53 type moves. I can see that. Will they? I don't know. I think having starters and backups, I think you feel pretty good about that. Maybe you add somebody to the practice squad, a couple of linemen to the practice squad, really, where you feel like you need them the most, and go from there. Yeah. 3 tight ends, I think that's definite, right? Andrews, likely Kolar. I don't think you need more than that. I really don't. I don't think you need any more than that. You could add a 4th tight end just in case we're talking about for injuries, especially when you look at Isaiah Likely. And I think they said he should be back out by week 1. But at the same time, I would like for them to ease him back in. So that's another part of it where it's like, maybe you keep, I feel like, honestly, I know Scotty Washington is lower on the depth chart than Zaire Mitchell-Patton, but honestly, I think Scotty Washington I've seen a little bit more out of. So I mean, either one of those guys, I think you could keep. I mean, I'm gonna mark that down just as a potential, a potential, 52, right? Like potentially being 52. So I'm gonna mark that one down real quick, just for my records here. All right. So on the defensive end, right? On the defensive end, I think at defensive, on the defensive end, at defensive end, I think I can see. Honestly, I don't really. I could see them possibly keeping Broderick Washington and then letting some of their other pass rushers line up at the end. But we also gotta remember and think about stopping the run too. So I honestly think they'll keep Broderick Washington and Brent Urban. I think Brent Urban is here to stay. I don't think they re-signed him to cut him in the preseason. I really did. I really don't. I think they re-signed him because they needed that depth. And even if he's not going to be necessarily an impact player week to week, play to play, possession to possession, I think he still has a role in this team. In certain spots. So I mean, I think they'll keep Urban unless they just want to get younger. I mean, which they could, but I just don't see it happening. They always got some sort of veteran, some sort of Wally O vet on the D line, some sort of Wally O vet when it comes to the secondary. So I think both of those things will remain. Nose tackle. Let me see. I got Travis Jones, right? Honestly, I'm gonna stick with just Travis Jones, right? So at this point, we're at 26. We're at 26. I'm gonna stick with just Travis Jones because I think you can see a little more of an AS Peoples possibly playing in roles where Travis Jones would be, right? Does that make sense? So I mean, I think honestly, this might be where you need a little bit more depth at, to be honest with you, right? Because I mean, I don't see you putting Broderick Washington on the inside. I don't see you putting Urban consistently on the inside. So honestly, I mean, I'm gonna put this as a definite, right? I'm gonna put this as a definite. So that's gonna take my 50-second spot. That's gonna take my 50-second spot. John Jenkins. John Jenkins. I'm gonna put John Jenkins right there, right? So that's 52 for me, and then possibly 53 could be at tight end just because of injury sake. In terms of pass rushers, right? I think you keep your top three when it comes to your pass rushers. You keep Odafe Oweh, at least the top three that's listed as pass rushers. Odafe Oweh, Tavius Robinson, and David Ojabo. I think David Ojabo, because of more recent injuries, I think David Ojabo is going to end up still being on the team. But honestly, David Ojabo has been kind of just a roster spot lately. I would love to see him prove himself, but it just hasn't been there. It hasn't been there for David Ojabo. So I hate that for him, but it just hasn't been there. If I'm gonna be honest. And then when it, kind of like we said, Will linebacker. So this is 31-32. Trenton Simpson, Jake Hamel. I think that's as it stands. I think that'll stay as it stands. Like I said earlier. Middle linebacker, look, I keep forgetting that Malik Harrison is not on this team and Teddy Buchanan is because sometimes I'll be watching and seeing 40 running around at middle linebacker, and I'm like, dang, he kind of fast. But dang, Malik then glue up on us or something. This man then came out here and he didn't really improve. Then I realized it's Teddy Buchanan. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So of course Teddy Buchanan, I think he's gonna stay. I think that's obvious. Roquan Smith, that's obvious, right? When it comes to sub linebackers, I think you're gonna go with your top three there, right? So your top three when it comes to sub linebackers is gonna bring you up to 37. Not to mention my extras are probably about 38 when it comes to when I put John Jenkins in there. So with that being said, I think with that being said, I'm gonna be honest. I think you keep Vanoy, Adisa Isaac, and Mike Green. Honestly, I've liked the way Adisa Isaac has looked in the preseason. I mean, I know we didn't get to see much of him. I know he got injured pretty early, but from what I saw, he was aggressive. He was doing his thing. I'm really excited to see some of these pass rushers. Mike Green, of course. I mean, I think we've all been excited to see him. Adisa Isaac, Calvin always is there and consistent, right? And even how that's going to affect like Tavius Robinson, Owe Ojabo, I think will be interesting. You could bring back Connie. I guess we'll see if that happens. Could be something that you do, but we'll see. And then let's jump down into the corners. All right. So I got 3 on the left side with Nate, Awuzie, and JAD. I think Jalen Armour Davis is gonna be around, y'all. I mean, I know I was hard on him, and I'm sorry, y'all. I know I was hard on him in the video. In the video, we talked about the Colts, and I'm like, well, it's it's Jalen Armour Davis, guys. Come on, I know, but I mean, I feel like he's honestly in game has shown some good things, but I feel like that's almost every preseason for Jalen Armour Davis, to be honest. Like, anyway, on the right side, Jair Alexander, right? Jair Alexander. Let me see how many people I put on the right side. I went with 2. So I went with Jair Alexander and TJ Tampa. Honestly, I'm going to stick with it, but I'm going to tell y'all why I ain't really feeling TJ Tampa, y'all. Like, I'm just not. But honestly, that's because at the nickel position, Keon Martin has just played better. Like, I mean, I know they play different positions in this, that, and the third, but Keon Martin has just played better than he has, I feel like. I mean, even Thomas Graham been out there making plays. I don't know. I'm not a part of the TJ Tampa agenda. I apologize, y'all. I know that might offend somebody, but I'm just not, okay? Marlo, of course, Keon Martin. See, I mean, I think that'll be it for the corners, to be honest. I mean, this one give us what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it gives us 6. It probably wouldn't hurt to have another one. But I mean, more than likely, you're going to have what? I mean, it probably wouldn't hurt to have another one. And that could be that last spot. Because, I mean, we're looking at the last spot at this point. But, I mean, y'all know how the Ravens are. They'll put darn safety at corner. Who knows? But, anywho, we'll see. And then when it comes to the safeties, I mean, when it comes to the safeties, of course, Kyle Hamilton, right? On the other side, you got Malachi Starks. I think those are obvious. Apparently, Ardarius Washington can come back, right? But weirdly, he's not on the reserve. So that's the other part of it that's kind of weird. So I might, like I said, y'all can let me know down below if I'm wrong about this, but I'm just going to stick with it. I feel like Ardarius Washington still takes that spot because there's a possibility he could come back, even though he tore his Achilles, which is crazy. I can see both. If Ardarius Washington isn't a part of this mix, right? Because I think that's the thing. I think they'll keep 2 free safeties regardless, right? If Ardarius Washington ends up being on injured reserve and that opens up a spot for somebody else, I think Bill Brady will be the guy to take the. Honestly, I think Keandre Jackson will be that guy because the thing about the Ravens and safeties is they kind of feel like everybody's interchangeable anyway. So you can't even go based off position with the Ravens. You really can't. So, I mean, I've loved what I've seen from Keandre Jackson. I feel like he's been everywhere, right? He's played really well. He's been everywhere. And I think there's reason to believe that he could be impressive for the Ravens. And then, of course, to end it out, Jordan Stout, Tyler Loop. We know Nick Moore, right? We know the special teams guys. They're gonna stay the same. So I mean, I think that did take us up to 53 because I added in an extra tight end because of injury sake, and I added in John Jenkins to bring me up to 53 because I was at 51 when I first held this list up that I didn't even fill out, but I mostly kind of filled out as we was going along so I could keep my numbers right. But look, y'all, let me know what y'all think below, y'all. 53-man roster is coming out in a little less than an hour and a half. Probably by the time y'all see this, a little less than an hour. Okay. And I'm telling y'all, man, it's gonna. I'm excited about this team. I really am. Like, I want to do some more videos where I get a chance to really deep dive into this team a little bit more, about some certain things that I've seen, some certain things that I've kind of learned this off season. I know I took a little bit of a creation break, but I still been, you always keep your ear to the wall when it comes to the Ravens, right? So I'm very interested. I got some things coming up that I think y'all will be excited about and excited to just have some conversations and discussions about. But look, y'all, I'm definitely excited for this team. Like I said, I think this roster is just so stacked, dude. Like, this roster is so stacked. Like, it's a really stacked roster. It's a really fun looking roster. Like, I think this roster has there's a lot of potential there for this roster to be really good. And I'm excited about the defense even more so, man. Because I mean, you feel like you got some pass rushers that could really make some impact if Jadeveon Clowney is, I mean, shout out to Hendo for putting that in my mind. But if Jadeveon Clowney possibly could be a thought, I mean, it'll never hurt, and there's Peoples and Peoples and what he could do. That's exciting. Teddy Buchanan and what he could do. That's exciting, especially with the Ravens' ability to strategically blitz too. You got some guys who you can really put in some positions to really be successful on this team. And it's very exciting, man. It's very exciting. But look, y'all, I'm going to see you guys on the next episode of the Be More Show. I promise y'all I got some stuff down the pipeline. I promise y'all. I do. I promise y'all. I know sometimes y'all think I'm playing with y'all. I'm not. I promise. I got some stuff down the pipeline. Look, I'm going to see y'all guys on the next episode of the Be More Show. Until next time, my friends, let me know down below who's going to make the 53-man roster for the Baltimore Ravens. I got to know. It's at least 48 through 53. Just let me know who those last couple of guys who are going to end up making it. Look, y'all, I'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time, my friends.